Okay, this is Led Zeppelin, Kashmir, one of my favorite songs. I think it was released in 1971, and this one is considered by the members of the group, the most important song ever. And I just wanted to dissect the lyrics and divide into little pieces, because I think that the message, which is not common, not easy to understand, because a metaphor, sometimes, it's very hard and tricky to capture. Something that is not the intention that the composer wanted to express. Sometimes it's not obvious, in the lyric, and especially this one here. But the beginning of the song is a kind of reference, and trying to set a connection between the desert, the stream, the heat, and something that some profound, transformation, and when you have to learn how to stop, setting the rules, and have to learn how to obey the orders, because it's as time goes by, and we have to learn how to get rid of the bad, and move on, and so this is a kind of invitation to leave the country, so put the whole thing aside, for a while, and trying to set a connection with yourself. Because when you are dealing with people, get in touch with people, society, we have to learn, have to have the knack to take a fresh drip on our proof masks, and have to pretend all the time, because you have to correspond to a certain scheme, because everybody needs acceptance. Everybody needs to be accepted by the others. So we waste so much effort trying to fit in. This is a kind of thing that you have to stop for a certain period of time. Because it ends up becoming a kind of that. And the weight gets heavier each passing day, more and more. So the beginning of the song will have a reference, as I said before, reference to a desert, shiny sun in the sky, the sun burning the ground and everything, tending to death. But what is the most important thing, that when Robert Plant starts saying that, let the sun be down upon my face, and starts to feel my dreams. It's the first step, when you have to learn how to obey the orders, stop setting the orders, the others, and you have to learn how to obey the voice that is very low voice, we think that is saying the same thing, repeating the same thing. So we have to be humble and redeem ourselves to to open the door to this huge monster who wants to express itself through ourselves. So that's the point here. When you have to stop, struggling and fighting and resisting, and so just let the sun beat down upon my face. So let it burn my skin. So that's the first step. Um, Other thing that is interesting about these lyrics, Kashmir, composed by Led Zeppelin, is as I said before, I have to move on, have to be quit of the bad, and I have to learn how to reconstruct, rewind, move and travel back in time to rescue and to retrieve something that you couldn't realize at that time. But now it's easy to perceive. Have a sharp image. It's easy to understand what was happening at that time. So the second line here, he says that he is a traveler of both time and space to be where I have been. Other aspect that happens when we are trying to evolve and develop our skills and learn how to beat the wings and soar and fly really high above in the sky, is changing. Have to leave the place that we were used to root ourselves. So many attachments, so many disappointment and frustrations, and so many connections. You have to learn how to be free and try to get in touch with other aspect inside our bodies that it wasn't possible to do and at that time in that place. It depends on the circumstance, of course, and the people who are around you. So anyway, it's a kind of motion, very slowly motion, and have to take courage. Have to be courageous enough to do that, and have to wait for the sun, for the sunset, and I have to have to keep some distance, and I think that loneliness, is very important, when you are trying to, to put the whole thing down and stop lying to yourself, stop deluding yourself, and so it's a kind of, how can I say, a push driving force, which cannot explain the origin, the place where it comes from. So it's kind of magic, so anyway, the first verse here. Other thing that's very important is the fact that we have to get in touch with special people, because we are so accustomed to hiding some kind of thoughts, and we cannot reveal some secrets. But these people, which is called elders of the gentle race, you don't have to resist. You don't have to bring your shield. You don't have to defend yourself. You can be exposed. You can rely on the others, and at the same time, when you are dying to believe what they are saying, so you can trust these people. And then, of course, it's very common to get in touch with this kind of people. So that's why I have to move and have to learn how to ignore many things. And as I said before, you have to break the laws, you have to break the bonds, and we have to overcome some obstacles, and especially more things, more stuff, and I have to learn how to skip over and fly above all the others, and I have to find another point of view. Other thing that's is very interesting, the fourth line of the first verse. When you are trying to explain something that is talking about metaphysics, it's not easy to find the right appropriate words to express a specific idea. But in this case, it's funny because you don't have to relate the words. You don't need to understand, to comprehend what the elders are talking about. But despite of this, the story is quite clear. It is now a spectacular view, perception, change our perception. So and even more, if this is not in your tone, if you don't know how to learn, if you don't know how to understand this language, it doesn't matter anyway, because what you want to listen to, when you are paying attention to them, what you are expecting them to say, you have the words already previously, so that's why it's possible to understand what the others are talking about. And eventually everything will be reviewed. So as a reference, I was reading a book written by Jung, and he mentioned some verses written by Goethe, Fausto, and again set a connection between Jung, in this case, Led Zeppelin, because when you are trying to get rid of the consciousness and the ideas that are not allowed to be expressed, they have to be forbidden, and you have to learn how to repress and deprive yourself. Although you try, it doesn't matter how. These thoughts are constantly trying to find a gap, a passage to get through, this seepage, the thought is seeped through the crack, and eventually it ends coming out. Other point very interesting here is the sensation that this profound transformation when you learn how to leave the whole thing behind, the sensation of death, and of course it scares lots of people, and the majority of people tend to run away instead of facing these I would say that deadlock, because this kind of crossroads, the doubt, when you feel so insecure, you don't know what to do. You need someone to rely on, to lean on, and it's very difficult. It's a very difficult challenge, to to solve. But anyway, all the thing. Other part that I think that's the whole lyric, is very interesting, of course. But one other part that I consider very interesting is this one. When he said that, Robert Plant says that the pilot of the storms who leaves no trace, like thoughts, inside a dream. When I have even a nightmare, I have bad dreams, and when you dream all night long, it doesn't matter how much time, how long it lasts, but it's very funny when we don't remember the dream, and we cannot recall some details of the dreams, and that's the way it works. The unconsciousness moving, passing, invade the consciousness. The strange thoughts, strange ideas, passing through and leaving no traces. That's the way it works, and that's why it's a little bit difficult to capture and understand the meaning of the dreams. But anyway, as I was saying, this book, this book was, written by Jung, and one part, as I said before, that it's very interesting. One part that's it's very, very important is a kind of relation when the consciousness is overwhelmed by the power of the unconsciousness, and we cannot resist any longer, so it's impossible, and sooner or later it ends up conquering, and it has a domain, and you have to obey instead of ordering as use it to be known before. So when you leave the city, you go to the country. We try so hard to forget the strange messages, and you go to your plow, to your farm. You have cows, have the cattle, and you have many things to do. But this passage is very interesting, because when you are walking on the field, and you are appreciating the landscape, and I have the sun, and I have your family, people laughing, and everything else. But when you are passing under a tree, you hear a black crow, quacking, weird words, and it's a kind of sign that things cannot be kept or remained the same 24 hours a day, and your bullet proof mask just falls to the ground, and I have to face, your real face, in the mirror. So it's a kind of uh, defeat. You have to, stand. You have to face the defeat. You just can't, win this battle, and you cannot cope, with the unconsciousness. It's just, a matter of time. So, so that's it. I have to learn how to change these things. I have just the point is, before, and when you are not just, struggling, but when you are dealing, with this, you have to um, to accept. You have to learn how to console yourself, redeem yourself, whatever. But I have to accept the defeat, and this is the beginning of the whole thing, in my opinion.